Okay, so here we are in the final set of today. The ever exciting eOnzErG in the top right hand corner spawning in as the blue Zerg, and in the bottom left hand corner spawning in as the yellow Terran. We have Bibiane. This is of course already game 3, given there were 2 walkers to begin with, and yeah, this is going to be a very, very tall order for our friend Bibiane.
Yeah, kind of sad, but I'm excited about this series. There are two players of roughly around the same skill level. TVZ is an exciting matchup, and we'll have to see exactly how they're going to be able to play against each other. Bibiane is a player who, general consensus among a lot of the best players is that his special TVZ talent is against Mutalisks. It seems like a lot of the games that Bibiane loses is when his opponent goes for a Ling Bust, or a Lurker Ling Bust, or goes for some weird, I'm going to skip Mutalisks and go for very fast Defilers kind of play.
Which is mad. We all know that's mad.
And that, yeah. But we saw a little bit of that when we casted his group stage. He played 3 TVZs. He lost 1 when his opponent tried to Lurker Ling Bust him, and did it successfully, and he won 2 of them when his opponents went Mutalisks against him. So,
yeah,
we'll have to see if eOnzErG knows about that potential weakness, slash believes it actually is a weakness, and what he goes for.
I'm not sure he will. I personally haven't seen too much of Bibiane's play in tournaments and whatnot, so it's probably a little bit more under the radar than eOnzErG. But yeah, either way. Go on.
No, I messed up.
You messed up?
I messed up in the overlay. It says Pike, but not... I messed up the... Yeah,
it's
I
alright.
messed up the overlay.
Just
ignore that
just
one slide.
You figure it out, and...
No, it can't be changed. It's just going to be wrong the entire time. So, awesome.
No! Oh well, it's okay.
Yeah.
So people don't get crazy pictures?
No, they get the right pictures. Everything's right except for the ISL run. That one slide is wrong.
Okay.
So that's a shame.
But we'll be okay. That is a shame, but yeah, we'll get by probably. Anywho, we have Marine already coming out at the bottom left-hand corner for Bibiane, and at the top right we can see the eOnzErG producing up some Zerglings, sending them out on the map to go forth and prosper. That SCV is probably going to get taken down unless he can do some really, really fancy micro. Bibiane just trying to dodge around. Of course, he is living constantly on the edge because he can't lose a single game. He has to take this, so he has to be right on it. And that SCV going to be dashing back across the map, trying to keep that alive as long as possible. Managing to do a decent job of that so far. All the while, the Zerglings are heading through the middle of the map, and they're going to have a little bit of a crack at the front of the base. We do see this interesting wall in again, but I would imagine it is tight, despite that huge apparent gap on the right-hand side.
And given the situation, eOnzErG is not a fun opponent to have to do that against, because eOnzErG not only has a wide array of strategies, he has a very wide array of aggressive strategies. Some would consider cheese, some of them cheeses, some of them not cheeses, just very strong timing attacks, but still, it's a very hard position where it's very easy just one game to mess up in your defense just a little bit and his bust works, but you need to be perfect here. You cannot afford to make that small micro mistake. You need to win 3 in a row right now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. He doesn't have a choice, otherwise he's falling out of the SR, which no player wants to find himself doing. But he manages to get his expansion up in decent timing. That engineering bay slightly early, maybe? You reckon, is that slightly early time for your eBay?
It's a little bit early, but what's more relevant is that his opponent... It's actually not that it's not that early because he went for fast gas, so he just wants to get the +1 started. eOnzErG, I was more focused on eOnzErG, who's going for 2-hatch Mutalisk right now. So that is one of the aggressive builds that eOnzErG can go for. 2-hatch Mutalisk on this map can be quite effective, as there's a lot of angles for Mutalisk to come in on. The main is it's very hard to attack the SCVs in the main mineral line, just because it's way in the corner and pressed up against the wall. But this is very susceptible to Mutalisk harass dancing right along that cliff edge. So +1 won't be done, and he did delay the academy a little bit. He's actually not getting any of the, not quite getting the upgrades yet. It's going to be a little while before that. There it is. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit while before he starts that upgrade. So yeah, he's gonna just have to work with a single upgrade to fight off the 2-hash Mutalisk, and we're gonna have to see exactly how good Bibiane's Marine Micro is. But as we said in the beginning, that's a strong suit.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely it is, and he's building up a decent number here. Throwing down some extra barracks at a pretty good time and getting scan up as well. Yeah, everything looking very, very standard from him, but again, playing to his strengths, and there's no reason why he wouldn't do that. eOnzErG's third base is well on the way up as well in advance of his Mutas, so he's only going to be producing off 2 hatcheries, so his Mutas count isn't going to be that great, and the scan goes down immediately. Very, very well timed scan from Bibiane, seeing the 2 eggs morphing and seeing the spire already up as well. So I think he's definitely going to know what is going on at this point, and he's going to be well prepared for it. Lifting the barracks off, he's actually ready to make a little bit of a move right now. Stimming out, he's going to take care of these Zerglings very, very easily, and that will force eOnzErG back across the map a little bit, and will keep eOnzErG on his toes as his Mutalisks get ready to pop out.
This very slow upgrade, the +1 weapons, is almost like a time limit for eOnzErG. He needs to do damage, his Mutalisks are out now, but he needs to do damage before that finishes. Because once there is a good number of Marines off of 5 Raxes, plus stim, plus range, +1, that's too much for just Mutalisks off of the 2-hatch to handle. So eOnzErG needs to do his damage before that upgrade finishes, and that's really going to be the time limit. But Bibiane with very nice turret timing, going to have them just in the nick of time, does lose 1, but the other ones are going to finish. eOnzErG momentarily backs off, but momentarily backing off gives Bibiane time to make any defenses he needs. So the 2-hatch Mutalisk is not looking like it's going to work out here.
That was really, really very good turret timing from Bibiane. He seemed exactly to know what was coming at him, and as well he might. Very nice play from him, getting everything ready just in the nick of time. Those Mutalisks going to migrate in and out a little bit over the high ground, but they should be visible for just as long as they're shooting, so the Marines might be able to get over there and do something to them, especially if he lays a scan down up in the high ground, which he is going to do. But it's still a decent enough position for Mutalisks, so he's probably going to be able to take out that supply depot, leaving Bibiane's supply box for just a second. Another supply depot already on the way back in his main, but he'll do well to throw another one down just as soon as possible. eOnzErG getting temporary supply block there as well, but laying down some colony in his front just to make sure he's safe as soon as those Marines start to make an appearance.
Bibiane actually going for a 6-Rax, interestingly. Yeah, dealing with those Mutalisks on the cliff, very difficult without range, and I didn't realize Bibiane's range was so late. But no, he got some other things before that started. Excuse me, no, it is a 5-Rax. He lifted off the barracks and floated all the way back home. Anyway, catching Mutalisks a little bit out in the open, eOnzErG needs to be careful here not to lose his entire cluster in one bad engagement. Oh, he's taking a lot of shots from the Marines without getting shots off of his own. He needs to be really careful with the Mutalisk micro here, because if he doesn't pick off a good enough number of these Marines as they cross, this is actually going to be very dangerous.
Yeah, very, very dangerous, and as we can see, losing a couple of Mutalisks there for pretty much for free. That Overlord is just going to make its way away, but this is quite a lot of Marines. They can definitely bust through 2 Sunkens and a Lurker if the Mutalisks are not right on point, which they absolutely need to be. The 2 Lurkers at the top of the ramp will mean that Bibiane is absolutely unable to break up there, so eOnzErG is safe in his third, for the moment at least, until there are siege tanks. But having stabilised, he still needs to be a little bit careful. Bibiane is still well out on the map and still got good aggression in him.
Yeah, this is... oh no. Lots of shots taken on the Mutalisk. They only managed to catch a single Marine. 1 Lurker at the natural... That's a tempting attack for Bibiane to make, but he's making the right decision by not going in. That's just too many Mutalisks and Sunkens to deal with. For that Marine force. And he's bringing in another round. Even then, I really think he should just play it safe. Take really nice map positioning with this, because you keep those Mutalisks at home all you do. But just wait for the siege tank to come along.
Yeah, he definitely needs to wait for the siege tank. Nothing's going to be happening here until then. Stringing a few more Marines. He's sitting right next to the high ground though, stimming without medics, so that's going to sacrifice a couple of Marines. Only 2 go down though. Slightly lucky break there for Bibiane, but he's doing a nice job of staying present, and he knows he's probably unable to break that, but he does try and break it nonetheless. Manages to take down 1 Lurker, but having said that, he does make a pretty nasty job of it, losing a lot of Marines, but these Mutas might have trouble holding on here, and this could be really, really good. All the Mutas actually going down, and eOnzErG panics, uproots 1 one lurker, but that gets taken down immediately. Lovely move there from Bibiane. eOnzErG is in complete disarray now, burying down another lurker in a very, very strange position indeed. And now this third base is completely ripe for the picking. Fantastic little bit of a break for Bibiane there. That was really, really nice job. Really great little bit of game sense knowing that he could break up there and actually do a good attack. And eOnzErG is in a hell of a lot of trouble now. His greatest spy is coming in, but he has got no Mutalisk left on the map whatsoever.
It needs to be re-emphasized. Bibiane saw those lurkers. He knew he was... Oh, HH.
Great game.
Yeah, Bibiane saw those lurkers. He knew he was going to lose a lot of Marines, but as you said, that's just a lot of experience knowing I am going to have enough to deal with the Mutalisks afterwards and still have to deal with the Mutalisks afterwards and move up and take out that expansion. And that was a game-winning move from Bibiane. Brilliant play right there to make a very quick game out of that one.
Yeah, absolutely superb little bit of play right there from Bibiane. Showed us what is up and how scary a Terran can be if he's allowed to stay on the map too long. Really, really fantastic decision. And eOnzErG left completely with nothing right at the end there. So we're going to head on into the next game. Remember, guys, that Bibiane started off this series 2-0 down because he was half an hour late, and you are penalised one game for every 15 minutes that you are late. And as such, he has to win this straight up 3-0. I'm not seeing the game, by the way, Aquabeast. Is it up?
It is now.
Okay, I've got it.
I totally didn't start it without you and then had to cancel. That definitely didn't happen.
Classic Hacklebeast.
Yeah. Hey, I have yet to host Matchpoint or Andromeda. Or, excuse me, Fighting Spirit or Andromeda. That was the first time that happened, and I caught my mistake before the game started. I'm feeling pretty good. And I haven't left it on the splash. Minor technicality that I haven't been using the splash, but regardless, taking it as a victory. So, game number 4, Bibiane and eOnzErG.
Okay, so spawning in the bottom left-hand corner as the orange Terran, still 2-1 down, but looking good after the first game, and tricking out his SCVs very, very weirdly. ISL3 Bibiane, not quite sure what happened there. And in the top right-hand corner, coming in as the purple Zerg, is ISL3 eOnzErG. So both these players can be duking it out once again. I would like to, at this point, link a Reddit thread into the chat. If you hate Reddit, if you love Reddit, please go and vote that up just so we can get more views, get more people excited about Brood War, because that is what this is all about. Big thanks to all our sponsors. I'll do a proper shout out to them after the game, hopefully when I can get hands on a full list. Everything proceeding entirely as planned so far in this game. eOnzErG not trying anything crazy, which is a little bit odd because you'd have thought that he could just chuck mad stuff at Bibiane 3 games in a row and probably make one game stick.
Now that I have enough time to actually look at the ISL thing, it's messed up. Here's how it is messed up. It is messed up, one, because the bottom one says Pike and not Bibiane. So, ignore Pike. Bibiane should be on the bottom. Bibiane's the bottom on the other ones. And then the second thing that's messed up is that they need to be switched. So, eOnzErG's runs on the bottom and Bibiane's is on the top. So, you can actually use those, and they are correct in some way. It's not as if I have Pikes up there. But yeah, that's a mistake I made. And now it's really late, but I feel it's worth pointing out that's actually the second game where Bibiane's split has been off. In the first game, he had an SCV go through the mineral line and have to come all the way back around, which is just weird.
Very, very strange. But anyway, yeah, things proceeding entirely as normal so far. We have a hatchery about to be laid down at the natural for eOnzErG. Another drone out, going out just to get some scouting information done, doing what the Overlord, of course, cannot. And having not laid down the hatchery yet, the spawning pool yet, this doesn't mean, of course, it was a 12 hatch. And an SCV heading out for Bibiane to do a very similar thing. We have 13 CC going from him, so fast expand builds for both of these guys.
Bibiane with that. Oh, okay, that's going up. But for a second there, he had like 113 APM. It's a little bit odd, but yeah. That's risky from Bibiane, going 14 CC on a 2-player map. eOnzErG is going to be able to find it first, no matter what. Although, excuse me, although eOnzErG did go for a 12 hatch of his own, so it's going to be much harder to punish it, and Bibiane's probably going to be able to get away with it. But interesting to go for that on a 2-player map.
Yeah, it is quite curious, actually, isn't it? I wouldn't have imagined it would be the case, but it's going to work out very well either way. But the SCP on the command center could get taken down here, doing some nice micro with the with the drone, but it's going to survive for now. And running away that SCV and having to have a hack as a fresh one here. Let's hope we don't see any crazy stuff, because of course when this kind of thing's going on, it's very easy to accidentally cancel your command center, as we saw Idra famously do, I believe, in TSL2, which was really quite something. And after that, I believe he immediately GG'd. But Bibiane managing to avoid that very, very desperately awful pitfall and making up a couple of barracks and getting ready to start some marine production here.
On one hand, it's odd to see him go for the 14cc. On the other hand, 14cc is actually completely safe against any build. And if you don't believe me, Leda versus Great on a desert tile set map. Go watch that. Where Great 4-pulled Leda on close positions and scouted him first against a blind 14cc, and Leda still won because 14cc is just completely unfair. Should just happen to every build, every game. Anyway,
well, it's not 14cc that's unfair, it's SCVs that are unfair. I remember when I first started playing Brood War, and there was this feeling of shock when I was playing online that my Dragoons were dying to SCVs. I couldn't believe it. And Dragoons are just so bad against SCVs, it's unbelievable, as is everything, because SCVs are super, super in. But we have the Spire going down now for eOnzErG.
Yeah,
fairly decent times. It's going to be the old 2-hatch again.
Yeah, interesting, he's going right back at it. I really think that Bibiane did a very good job of controlling against eOnzErG's Mutalisks. We already established that the Spain to Canadian internet connection wasn't terribly good, which is why Bibiane is starting out at a 2-0 deficit. Maybe it's just something eOnzErG really practiced, that he really just wants to stick with his 2-Ash Mutalisk, but given the information we have, it seems like Bibiane's going to be able to counter it just as effectively as he did Game 1.
Yeah, if I were eOnzErG, I wouldn't be doing the same thing again in this match, but I guess he likes to show he's got spirit, if nothing else, and hopefully he can give us a good display here. We have a decent SimCity at the front with a good number of supply depots making sure things are safe. And that bunker as well, with 4 Marines, meaning this is probably not going to be the best of run-bys should eOnzErG actually get around to attempting. It looks like he's just grouping his links together, probably not going to do any kind of run-by. Of course, if you are going to do a run-by, this can be a great timing for it. Just shortly before the muties, you can get in there, get a good surround on the Marines, and that can land Terran in a very, very sticky situation indeed. But looking like he's maybe being a bit too hesitant to do such a thing, and just making ready to bring his Mutalisks into the game.
Bibiane with 4 racks is relatively early, given that he isn't also going for the Flash +1. So a little bit switching up his build a little bit. We saw him do the same build TVZ in nearly every other game. Now we'll have to see how it works against Mutalisk. He's still going to have a great number of Marines out, just not the +1 with them. And yeah, these Zerglings can be very scary, whether Bibiane knows about it or not. But he's going to have to rely on the Mutalisks, either to draw the Marines away or to start to whittle down those numbers, and then the Zerglings can come in. But Bibiane's moving out with his Marines.
Oh, turret timing! How does that happen? Absolutely spectacular turret timing from Bibiane. I really don't know how he manages that, but literally just coming in at the second when the Mutalisks were in range. Very nice from him, so he makes himself safe, and the Marines are going out again. Might manage to catch a Mutalisk here, which are looking a little bit asleep, now moving off. Very, very nice job there from Bibiane, staying nice and safe and cutting every corner that he possibly can in order to use everything to maximum efficiency. We have the Mutalisk losing 1 Mutalisk for free very early on, and again we see possibly misplaced confidence in his ability to use the Mutalisks. And as we saw it fail last game, we might see it fail again this game here. The Mutalisks already landing themselves in a little bit of bother, and eOnzErG needs to be so much more careful than that, otherwise he's going to find this very, very difficult.
eOnzErG once again with a fast third base, but this third base, in one way it's nowhere near as nice as the other one, because there's 2 chokes, the chokes are bigger, so you can't defend it with lurkers in the same way. On the other hand, though, Bibiane was able to do what he did in Game 1 because of how close the third was to the natural choke. So
yeah.
I guess he's just hoping that Bibiane won't go down in that way to try to defend it, because defending it with lurkers is going to be pretty hard, especially off of such a weakened economy. And these Mutalisks have done no SCV damage at all. He's losing so many of them to Marines, just because Bibiane's never caught out of position with them. He always knows what the Mutalisks are. He's always stimming in the right times to get as many Mutalisk kills as possible. possible.
Yeah, yeah, Niels is still trying to micro in and out again, but just doing a nice job here, manages to take out a few Marines. This is actually a pretty good job. So the army from Bibiane is getting very, very worn down here. And oh, nice though, managing to catch one Mutalisk out. So this is very, very speculative from Bibiane, still being out on the map. And some more Marines actually managing to sim in here. This might be pretty bad for the Mutalisk, but it looks like it will just be okay for eOnzErG. And he's actually managing to get some purchase back in this game. His third base is in no immediate danger. And it looks like he's going to go to a more standard mid-game kind of thing right now. Both of them trying to kind of regain their positions, take a little bit of stock.
eOnzErG a little bit messing up with the Mutalisk micro again, but not a lot of Marines to punish it. In the meantime, eOnzErG's actually managed to get +1 to his Mutalisk attack. I don't think we saw that from him last game, but it's an interesting decision. Is he just going to go all in with the Mutalisks? It does appear, yeah, this is going to be a 2-hatch Mutalisk all-in. After getting that third one, he's just going to constantly pump +1 Mutalisks and try to win it. We saw a very entertaining game with the same strategy with Cole, when Cole was trying to get out of the group stages. So we'll see if Bibiane can channel his inner Cole here and have immaculate Mutalisk micro, because that's what he needs to do here. These Mutalisks can do a lot of damage very quickly, but oh, he can't afford to let them die like that.
Oh, so many Mutalisks going down. This engagement is kind of working out a little bit evenly. He's managing to take out all these Marines, but that's working out very, very strangely indeed. So many Mutalisks going down. A few more of them left on extremely low health. Still got a decent number though. These missile turrets are going to take them out quite easily though. He should not be engaging at this point. He knows how weak they are, but more Mutalisks coming in. He is, as you say, indeed trying to channel his inner Cole. He has that bottom right-hand base working, generating only gas, nothing more, but losing some more Mutalisks. Oh, this is the worst possible place to be sitting around. He's losing so many Mutalisks. This is a disastrous engagement for eOnzErG, and bad times for him. He has so few Mutalisks left, and that is all that he has on the map right now. Pouring in a few more, but he's losing his purchase on this with every bad engagement. He's doing well at times, but then taking one step forward and 2 steps back.
eOnzErG feels compelled to go in with these Mutalisks, and he's right. He is all in with this attack. He needs to do a lot of damage with these +1 Mutalisks, but it just looks like it's so bad just because of Bibiane's defense. eOnzErG knows that Bibiane's defense is good. There's just nothing he can do about it. Bibiane's doing absolutely everything right here, and if he was microing his Mutalisks better, getting more shots off, it wouldn't quite look as bad for him. But even if he was doing perfect Mutalisk micro, it's just Bibiane always in the right position with the Marines, has so many turrets up that eOnzErG is just going to find it so hard to do any serious damage.
Yeah, they're doing a fantastic job here. Bibiane's positioning at every point has been exemplary. I think if he were to produce one dropship now, then he would probably be able to end the game with a drop on the bottom right-hand corner. But as it is, he produces up a science vessel, and I guess makes ready to get a radiate going and to move out into the map, laying a nice scan down up on the high ground so you can see exactly what's happening. You can get so many shots on these Mutalisks. Yet another Mutalisk goes down, and this becomes just so problematic for eOnzErG, doing a nice little bit of micro in and out there, finally managing to get some decent kills off on the Terran army, but honestly his Mutalisk count still isn't all that strong. Going in again, picking off maybe another missile turret, but losing another couple of, another 2 Mutalisks in there as well, but more coming in, more reinforcements just being chucked in. He just needs to keep whittling down the Terran. He needs to do more damage than this though. He's not doing enough. He is standing still while the Terran is getting steadily bigger, and there is no way to win a game of StarCraft.
Radiate finally done. Oh, very nice flip by eOnzErG, even killing his own Mutalisk.
He's trapped! Oh no!
But that's so much damage done. His cloud is so weak, so anytime this happens, so many of them go down. And eOnzErG can't do anything but constantly throw Mutalisks at it because he has no follow-up to this. If he lets off the aggression for even a minute, he will instantly lose his third base and maybe even his natural. He just has, he can't do anything but just constantly throw Mutalisks, and Bibiane's turtled up to a point where they just can't do anything.
Oh dear me, and these Mutalisks are just getting absolutely torn to shreds, trying to do some micro in and out. GG from eOnzErG. And what we could be seeing here is a shocking reverse swing from Bibiane. Going into this 2-0, he has to take it 3-0. He is now 2-0 in played games on an unfamiliar computer as well. So props to him if he does in fact take this. Well done to him anyway, but this last set is going to be clutch. And I wonder if eOnzErG is going to pull out something crazy just to try and close this out. He's been 2-0 up for so long, he'll want to get this finished.
I hope so. because we saw Bibiane is an expert at defending against this 2-hash Mutalisk. He's just shut it down so effectively both times. But on the other hand, we are going to go on Icarus, some of the smallest distance between bases off of any map out there. So going for a Mutalisk play could be really effective when the air distance is so small. Maybe.
Yeah. It could be, but I just don't know that he's got the facility to pull it off. He needs to do something a little bit kooky, a little bit off-center. All he has to do is catch Bibiane really off guard once. That's all he needs to do in these 3 games. And I just think he needs to be a little bit crazy just to try and catch him by surprise, because the Mutalisk is just not happening for him right now.
Oh, here we go. Final cast of the day. eOnzErG versus Bibiane, game number 5. And still a weird split.
Yeah.
Huh.
It is a very weird split, but
Alright.
whatever, I'll let him kind of do it. I'd like to do a shout out at the beginning of this game to our illustrious sponsors, and I now have the full list, so I can do this properly now. We now have Altitude as the namesake sponsor of this tournament, Sales Viewers, Twitch TV, Fairyland, Noise, Prowler, Bopolis, Rescue, Trap, and Corum Jehalem, all putting their hard-earned into this game. So thank you very much for all those guys. If you would like to go and check out Altitude, as you indeed should, please head over to altitudeisl.net, where you can see every update going on for this tournament, and also link directly to altitudegame.com, where you can play their fantastic game for free. And now, in this match, Bibiane spawning at the top of the map as the teal Terran, and at the bottom, eOnzErG spawning in as the blue Zerg. And this is the first time throughout this entire cast we have gone to a set 5, so this is going to be interesting stuff.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what eOnzErG does. Does he stick with that same Does he stick with the same 2-hatch Mutalisk and just continue it because it seems to be the build that he's practiced most, or does he mix it up and go for something else? He isn't going for a 12-hatch this time around. He's going for a 9-pool. So you might see, looks like 9-pool speed. So we're going to see him get a little bit aggressive with the Lings, but the real question is what is he going to do after that? Is it going to be 2-hatch Mutalisk? Is it going to be standard 3-hatch Mutalisk? Or what might be the best option, given how we've seen Bibiane lose before, is he going to go for a Lurker Ling bust?
I think he might do. I think it might work out well if he does a bust rather than trying this whole microing in and out kind of stuff. But equally, I wouldn't be surprised to see Bibiane bring out something a little bit different in this game as well. Maybe a little bit of interesting one-base stuff. I just don't know. In order to throw eOnzErG's game even further off than it already is, because I think he might imagine eOnzErG's going to do something a little bit different this game. So he might try doing something that completely changes the face of the matchup, just in order to kind of screw with eOnzErG's plan.
I don't know. Everything's been working out so well for Bibiane. I'd be really hesitant to change from the formula that's been working. The first 6 Lings are out for eOnzErG, getting a little bit caught on the ramp there, but figured the way out. And speed has been started. He pulled the other guys off of gas. So yeah, let's see what 6 speed Lings can do. Bibiane hasn't pulled SCVs yet. He's seen the Lings come out. He needs more than just one. Why is he not pulling? There they are. Okay. 5 SCVs, it's a good number to have. He needs to get them back into position, though. They were a little bit out there, chasing a drone that managed to get into the base. And it looks like the drone can be annoying here. It wants to try to draw the Marines away, but if he draws the Marines away, then the Lings are going to have, the Lings are actually going to have a pretty easy time getting into the base. Oh, loses the drone.
Going down.
But,
yeah. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty hard engagement for eOnzErG to get anything going, as Bibiane has more Marines. I think that eOnzErG's just going to have to accept the fact he's going to start off at an economic disadvantage here.
Yeah, I can't imagine this is going to be any kind of good way for him to try and bust. He is going to try and bust. He's continuing to produce Zerglings, so he is going all in off this. And this could be the little bit of luck he needs. But if Bibiane decides to play super safe and lifts off a barracks and just sticks it over that ramp, then he will, of course, be absolutely invincible to this kind of thing. I'm always amazed that we don't see that more often, because all you have to do is hold position his units, and then no number of Zerglings will be able to get up that ramp, no matter what eOnzErG does. So if he sees what's going on, he might well, in fact, do that. And he does see what's going on. He sees more links coming in, and I think eOnzErG is going to try and go now. He's pushing up the ramp. Bibiane's going to have to defend really nicely here. He might pull more SCVs.
No.
He does, in fact, pull more SCVs, but this is not well micro by eOnzErG, and eOnzErG is in so much trouble. And he might actually get taken down 3-0 here after being 2-0 up for so long due to walkovers. And this would be a really, really spectacular upset by Bibiane.
That's an enormous oversight. You know that the Zerglings are automatically going to target the Marines. You have to focus down the SCVs first. They can't run by. But eOnzErG just forgetting to click on the SCV, and it might cost him the game. I really think it is, because there doesn't seem like there's any way he can break up. He's going to send in all the links, get a little bit of a surround here, but only a single Marine goes down.
Yeah. That's an absolute disaster for eOnzErG. So Bibiane's stim is already incoming. The lair is happening now for eOnzErG, but his drone count is pretty minimal, to say the absolute least. This is kind of zerg style drone count right now. He's sporting such a tiny economy, and right now Bibiane's actually moving out, and he's going to be met by just one sunken colony. This is a very, very nice little bit of an aggressive play from Bibiane, and he might arrive to be met by literally nothing but drones and a creep colony. And I think eOnzErG is in so much trouble now unless he gets a sunken colony. Okay, he's got a sunken colony, but there are still more Marines coming at him than he can possibly handle. Is Stim done? Stim is in fact done. So this puts Bibiane in a fantastic position, and I think he is about to bulldoze through eOnzErG's front door and take a fantastic reverse swing set, really displaying a lot of superiority right here.
Man, and Bibiane's gonna move in with the Marines. As you said, Stim is done. One sunken colony cannot handle it, and that other one's not gonna be done for a while.
Here he goes.
Marines
this
stimming in.
Big deal.
Oh, but they're not shooting. They're not shooting until now.
Oh.
Okay, now finally shooting.
Oh,
Gonna kill all the
drones.
drones off immediately. It buys the Sunkens a little bit more time to morph, but they're still not going to finish in time anyway. Oh, sunken colony goes down.
Oh,
The Spire's been canceled to make more time. And eOnzErG blows a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible stuff. eOnzErG is going to be really kicking himself. He was within one game this whole time. All he had to do was just throw cheese at Bibiane, and something might have worked. But it's too late now. He's got no hope of coming back into this game. Bibiane is tearing through his natural. The Marine fighter is making absolute mincemeat of his hatcheries. That sunken colony is probably not even going to make it into the game. And this is going to be absolutely it for eOnzErG. He is not going to be happy to have been taken down in this way, but Bibiane plays absolutely fantastically with the reverse swing. Pushing up the ramp, GG from eOnzErG. Great plays from Bibiane there.
Wow. Alright, and that is it. Those are the 4 games we're casting today. Congratulations to the people advancing. Bibiane, Busy, Astro, and Zeke. Bunch of Canadians and Zeke. We'll see them all play again in the round of 16. And we got more good matches tomorrow. Just a couple, actually. It's going to be Must versus Choosy. And Vanetier versus Dragon. Rams did not show up, so Project automatically advances. Congratulations to him too, I guess. Damn, I was really looking forward to that one. But Must versus
Which match is that, sorry?
Rams.
Oh, no Rams. Okay.
No Rams. Yeah. So I'm still very excited to see Must versus Choosy. Is going to be a great series. As for what I'm casting, I'll be casting next week, 21 CET, same time on Saturday, with more round of 32. I will also be casting Sunday, because Elmaster cannot. At 19 CET, I'll be taking over his slot. Elegant will be joining me for one of them. I hope you can join me for both of them.
That's the hope.
But I think that's it for us. Elegant, do you have any shoutouts?
I have no more shoutouts to do. Thank you everybody for watching. I would very, very much like anyone who likes this cast to follow this stream, to keep an eye on the official thread on Team Liquid, and to keep an eye on altitudeisl.net. Also, please, if you possibly could, go and express your gratitude to the guys over at altitudegame.com. Just drop them an email. I'm sure they will appreciate it. Go play their game. You'll have fun, I promise. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure you come back next week.
Indeed. Thank you all for watching. Bye.